Hey everybody, I was recently inspired to record the excellence call by one of my clients who said this isn't really a phone call, this is more of a seminar. So this is for you, Will. I am doing a full recording of this, and yeah, so let's get going. Let's talk about how to make your PPC campaign and your PPC strategy a total success. So let's start out with number one, choosing your lender. This is absolutely the most important thing that you can do in learning how to run this campaign. So what does your ideal lender look like? Unlike hiring just about anybody else, here experience is not necessarily something that we want to see. We don't want a lender with a full book of business. We want a lender that's maybe a year or two in, has 6 to 12 transactions behind them, maybe more. But essentially, the most important key is that they are hungry, they are motivated, and they want to close your business. They want to build a business. You two are going to become best friends, and you're going to build a business together. You're going to build something really beautiful together. So what are the expectations of your lender? What are they going to do on the file? So they're going to be deeply involved with your KV core, and that expectation should be set out from the beginning. If you're EXP, you need to go into EXP world. You need to ask them to add that lender onto your KV core profile. If you're not EXP, you should be able to do it yourself. Otherwise, contact your broker. They'll be able to add your lender on. And that lender is going to communicate with you inside KV core. And so I always say to them, I'm going to assign all of the nurtures to you and potentially the qualifieds and appointments. And I'm, of course, using my own realtor intuition to know which one of those should be going, which ones should not. And I say, this is what I expect you to come back to me with. You're going to come back to me when I send you a nurture or a qualified or whatever it is saying, A, I have the business. I'm working with them and we have a great relationship. B, they will never work with me. Their brother or sister is a mortgage broker or they're all cash, so I'm out. Or C, I have called, texted, and emailed up to 10 times and recorded it all in KV Core for you to see, and I cannot contact that client, so it's dead until you pull me back in. That's the level that I expect from your lender. That's what I want to see them doing with these leads. Playing catch with your lender is huge, and basically this means that when a lead comes in, you're going back and forth with your lender, keeping them between the two of you, and playing catch essentially. So at one point, your lender's going to call. At one point, you're going to call until you have them squarely working with you. When you have you, your lender, and your inside sales agent, all three of you trying to get a hold of a lead and develop a relationship, it is so much more likely that you're actually going to be able to develop a relationship and you're actually going to be able to get this person to work with you. So why is it so important that your lender work with your clients? Well, the reason is that your lender is going to be the one who's going to keep those clients with you. If those clients, if these leads are going to go and work with another lender, what's that lender going to do? They're going to try to transfer that lead over to their realtor. So it's super important that you are trying your level best to hook your clients, or at least these, especially these ones, in with your lender so that, between the two of you, you can make sure that they're going to work with you. So for example, if I hear from a client, okay, they're shopping a rate, they're getting another rate from another broker, I'm going to call my lender right away and I'm going to let her know, hey, you know what? They're shopping rates. You need to get in front of this. If my lender hears them say, oh, hey, they're going to book something with the listing agent, she calls me right away and lets me get in front of it and make sure I can call them and book showings if they're thinking about going somewhere else. Because most of the time that really just happens out of ignorance. They just don't know. Especially when they're coming in off the web, they can sometimes be a bit green. So playing catch has a lot to do with keeping the lead between us, passing back and forth. Sometimes it's like I've called too much, but it's totally okay for Kristen, my lender, to call. Whereas if I call again, it's gonna be bordering on that stalking side. So she can call sometimes. And here's a great example. We just had a lead where it came in from the ISA. The lead said, "Yep, I'm looking in this community. Here's my price range." Well, I got him once, and he was just on his way out the door to work. And then I called, texted, emailed, and I could not get him back again for about 7 days. Could not get a hold of him. But I had put Kristen on the case. Well, guess what? She called him, had a good old talk with him. They got on just fine. And he said, oh, did Rachel send you? And she said, well, yeah, she did. Turns out the entire time he thought I was his agent, he just hadn't been responding. I I don't know what's all behind it, but anyways, whatever, I went with it. But I'll tell you what, I would have dropped that lead if Kristen hadn't gone in there and dug it out for me. And as it turns out, the mortgage, she can't do the mortgage that he needs. So she's not going to get the business, but I am. And that's what a great lender does for you. And you know what? Sometimes you're going to get a lead that registers. It's already working for a realtor. It's no good for you, but it's good for your lender. And you can assign that to your lender. I do all the time. I'll assign those and say, hey, this is dead for me, but you take it. You want your lender to make lots of money from this system because you want them to be motivated to call, text, email, do what they have to do to make sure that your leads are getting closed. So the audition. What is the audition? So this is when you're on those first showings with your new client from offline. They don't have a lot of background with you. They don't know you. And so it's really just that moment where they're going to really decide if they want to work with you or whether they feel like you're trustworthy, you can do a good job for them, and you don't get much time to be able to demonstrate that to them. Usually they're going to call wanting to see one listing. Most of the time it's because they're mistaken. They maybe think that you are the listing agent because they've pulled you up and a listing showed up on your IDX feed and they think you're the listing agent, so they want to view it. This is great. If you can get a client to go out, I mean, I tell my buyer's agents all the time, that's a 50-50 close rate. You have a really good chance if you can go out and show them properties that they're going to work with you so long as you can demonstrate skill and solve problems. But let's talk about 4 showings every time. They're going to ask you for one property and you are always going to flip it into 4 or more. You're going to say, I know you want to view that property, but do you know what? I have 3 more that are very similar and I'd love to see your reaction to see if you still love the first one or if there's one of the other 3 that might intrigue you. And, it's really good to get a few together so that we can kind of compare and contrast, and then you'll have more options. I always speak as though I have the job. I don't talk about whether or not they're going to use me or not use me. I just talk about what's going to happen when they do use me and how that's going to go. And so, I mean, that's always worked well for me. I don't know, maybe not everybody can own that, but it's always worked well for me, and I really do highly suggest it because I truly believe that there's 2 things in this industry that separates, great realtors from not so great realtors, and that is expertise / skill, and the other one is just confidence. That's it. Just being confident in what you're doing. So sorry, I just had to pause there because there was a screaming child, so I hope this picks up seamlessly. The 2 things that separate the great agents from everybody else is expertise and confidence. That's really it. It's those 2 things, and if you can demonstrate that in those showings, then I think they'll go with you very easily. When I'm in showings with people, I talk about areas of concern, and I'm going to show in a showing way more negative things about the home than positive things. And the reason for that is, they don't really usually have a problem seeing what they love about the house, but what brings value from you to them is when you can point out things that they never thought of. Oh, did you know what? This backs onto a gas station. And I know that's convenient for like a midnight chocolate milk run, but this actually is really going to impact your value. And so I'm actually concerned about this and whether or not you're going to like this long term. Did you know that this backyard is north? This is actually going to be really shadowy and cold, and you may not like that, especially, are you outdoor people? I'm a little bit concerned that maybe the shadowiness of this yard might eventually get to you. So I always talk about areas of concern because concern brings us all together. So we're all in this together. We're together shopping for this house, and the good is going to impact us equally and the bad's going to impact us equally. And you know what it is? Clint and I, from the beginning, we had this, we feel like this was just like sort of this guiding spine of which we did our business. And that is that we worked really hard to never sell a bad property to our client, because we were trying to be forward thinking in our business, because we knew we would have to come around and list that property one day. And if it's a horrible property, then it's always horrible to sell. It's horrible for everybody. And so we will push to try to get our clients to purchase the best property for them, even if they kind of get distracted by properties that maybe have a really beautiful inside but in a horrible location. We will try to push them towards the better property. People might come after me with pitchforks for this, and I'm okay. I know I have a really radical view on this, but I struggle with the phrase, handling objections. Because to me, that feels like we're trying to steer a person the way we want them to go. Well, I don't want to do that. And I don't need to do that. In this day and age, all you need to do is to demonstrate your skill and solve problems. I think that the age of actual in-your-face sales is gone because people can look up on their phone what they want. You don't need to tell them what they want. They know what they want. You just have to help them find what they want. If you're like that, if you don't push things on people, if you're just there to help them solve their problems and make their way towards the new house that they want, if you are playing a support role in this, they will recommend you so enthusiastically. So here's an example. Someone says, I don't like dark hardwood floors. They always leave footprints. So instead of launching into a description of how your aunt had, hardwood floors that didn't leave footprints, and you've seen them not leave so many footprints, and whatever the case may be, I just give them options. I say, okay, we could redo the hardwood floors, and that'll be, we're looking at about $10,000 a floor. Or I could move you over into this community where I know there's like a lighter color palette of construction. In that whole community, there was lighter construction just because of the year that it was built. So we could try that. And then they go, oh yeah, you know what? I actually like this community and I don't want to pay $10,000 for floors, so I might live with it. Or they might not. They might say, yeah, let's do that. It's that important to me. And then you're going to be the person who goes out on extra tours with them based on their non-liking of hardwood floors. Fine. And so then they'll never forget you. They'll never forget that you were there for them. I understand that that's unorthodox, but I'm a person who does almost all of my business from repeat business and past clients and referrals. So just trust me on this one. So, writing the offer, you should never be writing an offer on the first showings unless they are straight up begging you. If they're begging you, that's fine. And I'm a person too. Again, you might come after me with pitchforks for this. I do not believe in asking for the sale. You don't need to ask for the sale. If they want to write an offer, no one's going to stop them. When they love the house, they love the house. And if you've done a great job in picking out the exact right properties for them and using intuitive searches and finding the right things and just generally being a great agent, you're not going to need to push them into putting pen to paper. You won't be able to stop them. So what I always say at the end of every showing is, especially on those first showings, I'm not even going to go towards offer. Those first showings, I'm going to be like, okay, well, based on how I saw you react today, I think that you're more interested in these types of things and less interested in those types of things. And believe me, people love to hear from you what you have understood from them by carefully listening to what they said, especially things that they didn't say, things that you picked up through body language or through off comments or whatever. And when they actually catch on to the fact that you understand them and you're listening to them, they love it. That you're not coming to them with an agenda, trying to push a sale on them. You're coming to them in a discovery process of tell me what you want so I can help you find it. You will get referrals for life on this. So at the end of the showing, I'll say, okay, it looks like you want to see more of this, more of that. Okay. And then you're going to bring it to the logical next steps, which we're going to talk about towards the end of this. But I also want to talk about when you've been on a few showings and it's offer time and you know that they love this property and they want to move forward. I always say to them, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go home. I'm going to run comparables on this. I'm going to give you two numbers. The first number is what I think the value of the property is. And the second number is going to be what I think we should come in at in order to get the best price. And then you guys let me know what you want to do so that they can, without you being there in their face, privately discuss between themselves, okay, what do we want to do? All this kind of stuff. Let me say that when you're giving all the negative stuff about the property and when you're not pushing them to write an offer, they're going to trust you. When you aren't trying to sell them every single property that you see, when you're actually trashing the properties that legitimately suck, when a property is legitimately good, they'll believe you. And they'll be like, okay, we're with you. If you think it's good, since you hated everything else we saw, if our realtor now thinks it's good, this has got to be good. So, anyways, offer. Give them the two prices. Okay, what is your role in getting these PPC leads closed? You do have a role. There's stuff that you've got to do here. Unfortunately, I can't give you... sometimes you're going to get leads with just a little neat, tidy bow on top, and it's going to be so great. And I've loved those. I have some awesome stories of those throughout the years. But I'll tell you what, those neat and tidy closes that just came in with a gift wrap on them, those probably made up 10% of the leads that I've closed in PPC. The rest of them I had fun with. playing catch with my lender, making different searches, going on a few different showings, and, finding creative ways to kick them out of the bushes. And so here's what you're going to do. Number one, you're calling nurtures, calling appointments, and you're calling qualifieds. These are the 3 levels of live clients that you're going to get from your ISA. Call your nurtures. Use your intuition, okay? If they're 1 or 2 years out, let the ISA handle it. But definitely send that one to your lender, because if you have a great lender like mine, she's going to go and call a lead that's 1 or 2 years out, and she's going to say, oh, you know what? I actually have a program that can get you purchasing in 3 months. We can use a flex down payment. We can do this. We can do that. There's options, right? She can often take someone who's a year or 2 out and turn them into a 3-month close. So all nurtures, everything is going to your lender. Even the ones that say that they're already working with a lender, I always get her to call and compete for a rate, and oftentimes she gets it. Because again, we want them in our court so that we can play catch. So you are going to call those nurtures. You are going to try and develop a relationship. You're not going to call off your ISA. You're going to let your ISA keep calling, but you are going to make your own attempts to call and get in touch with these leads. So you are calling them, and you are setting tasks and appointments for yourself to follow up in whatever way you think is necessary. If you called a few times, you tried to reach out and nothing happens, that's fine. Let the ISA catch it. But especially for the ones that look good, call. And here's another thing. So let's say you get in a nurture and it says, Buddy is shopping in 6 to 9 months. He's in this community. This is his price point. He has to have this many bedrooms and bathrooms. He has to have a finished basement, and he wants to be on a pilot. And he's 6 to 9 months out. Well, no, he's not. Nobody knows that much about what they want to buy if they're 6 to 9 months out. That guy is 1 listing away from writing an offer. You need to get in front of him. You need to start developing a relationship, book a coffee, talk to him, send him crazy texts, do what you have to do, but try to talk to this guy, because he is not 6 to 9 months out. You need to get in front of it. So use your intuition in knowing where to call and when to call. Sorry. Okay, organizing your leads in the KV Core. You're going to go into your KV Core, and you're going to separate out what's active leads, what's clients, what's prospecting, and which ones are new leads. Those are the ones you haven't touched yet. You're going to make sure that your leads are organized and you are setting tasks. Next is you're going to be creating insightful listing alerts. So this means that, yes, you can have the system send alerts for you based on what they were looking at, but try to lay eyes on them to make sure they make sense. Let me give you an example. So in Auburn Bay, I will see somebody come in, and let's say, they've looked at 10 properties between 3 and 400. And then they looked at 2 properties over 2 million. What happened here? Well, they're shopping between 3 and 400, obviously, but then they saw some pretty homes and they wanted to see the pictures, so they bopped over for a second. Well, the computer is going to give them a range of between 300 and 2 million, which is going to overwhelm their box, and it won't be relevant, and they won't click on it if it's not relevant to them. So go in there and make sure their search stays at 3 to 400. Do not spam your listing alerts. No more than twice a week. Once a week is probably usually best, unless someone is actively shopping or they've instructed you otherwise. So next, you're going to create a personal campaign for text and email. Those are going to be your crazy texts and crazy emails, which we're going to talk about. You got to do this. This is just something you have to do. We'll get to it next on how to make those and how to set them up. Okay, number 5, setting tasks and follow-ups for qualifieds and appointments. If I ever have somebody going, oh, this isn't working for me, 10 times out of 10, I look inside the back end of their KV Core or their lead system, and lo and behold, there is not a single task or follow-up set or done. They have called nurtures and qualified leads maybe once, and then they just gave up. They didn't keep calling and make sure to get them captured or receive to book an in-person appointment or move the ball down the court in any material way. So absolutely, when you have nurtures, qualifieds, and appointments, you need to call them. This, again, I'm sounding like a broken record, but it includes nurtures. If you see a nurture that looks good, get in there. Develop a personal relationship. Your ISA will never have the same ability to develop a relationship and to give insightful real estate advice as you do. So get in there. If you see that happening, take it over and try to get a hold of them. You don't necessarily need to call your ISA off unless you've actually got a good relationship going and you guys are in constant contact. Then it doesn't make sense for your ISA to keep calling. You just shoot an email to support and they will discontinue contact with that lead. So number 6, you're playing catch and you're strategizing with your lender.
constantly. So I talk to my lender daily, and we meet weekly with the entire team, with all the buyer's agents and the lenders. So you need to be constantly working with your lender. This is a joint partnership. So it's back to how important a lender is. You are constantly working with your lender to turn C leads into B leads, to turn B leads into A leads, and to turn A leads into sales. And this is something that you're doing by playing catch back and forth. And so if she calls a lead, doesn't get a hold of them, you call a lead, maybe you get a hold of them, you develop a relationship, you move on, and you make sure to bring in your lender as soon as possible, as soon as it makes sense to do so. If maybe she or he is the one who's able to catch them, develop a relationship, and they'll be very careful to make sure they bring you in when it's appropriate. Sales pipeline is massive. This is so huge. When we started doing leads in 2011, we quit after 3 months, and it was because of this very thing. We did not have the vision. Nobody showed us how this pipeline would work with PPC. And to be honest, since we didn't have a good grasp of follow-up, and our follow-up wasn't great, we would have dropped probably a lot of the good stuff anyways, and I'll show you why. Let's look at month 1. Okay. If you have a budget of $1,000 and your cost per lead is around $10, you'd be looking at roughly 3 sales. Okay. But maybe you're super lucky that first one comes in right away, and you close one right away. That's great. That's happened sometimes, but not all the time, and certainly can't be relied upon. The other 2 are slotted in the future, and most agents drop those because they only take the low-hanging fruit from PPC, and they don't have an excellent system for follow-up. This is why we provide you with an ISA, because the ISA will track those next 2 sales for you. Here's month 2. And look at this, again, they're slotted in the future. This is just the way of it. This is just the way that online sales work. They are a pipeline product. Here you go. We're in month 3. Month 4 is where we actually start seeing some of the fruit of the hard work that we've been doing. We start realizing some of those nurtures that have been coming in, some of those ones we've been working with, some of the ones we've been showing houses to, we're starting to see sales. And so it's really in months 6, 7, and 8 where, you're seeing sale after sale after sale come in. All of your hard work is starting to pay off. And so when do most agents give up? Between month 1 and 3. When they go, what? What? I'm not a millionaire right now? Are you kidding me? I see money going out. I don't see money coming in. I understand the sentiment. I was one of you in 2011. I want to encourage you to stick it out and wait for the process to take its natural results. It is just something that just happens every single time. We haven't seen this not happen yet. Be patient, wait, call your nurtures, and be excellent with your task setting. The time will come for you. Okay, crazy texting and emailing. So I have already sent out crazy text and emails, all of mine to you, so that you can use them to sort of, edit, your own personal crazy texting and emailing. If you don't have them, shoot me an email and I will send them out to you. What is a crazy text? So a crazy text is a radical overshare followed by a quick and easy to answer qualifying question. So here's what a crazy text would be. It would be, and this is like one of mine or close to one of mine. Hi, I'm in my office right now. I'm pretty sure there's 2 kids outside my door fighting over a video game. But if I stay in here and look terribly busy, my husband will take care of things for the next 2 hours while I get some moderate silence. So help me look busy and tell me, what communities are you shopping for? So again, just it's a share of your life followed by a qualifying question. So why does this work? So I have this theory, and I believe I'm right in my theory, that there's nothing that is real in this world anymore. Everything's fake, from Instagram profiles to polished Facebook photos to all the happiest moments of life being shown on social media. We got fake boobs, we got fake butts, we got high fructose corn syrup. We're not even eating real food anymore. There's nothing that is real in this world anymore. And I think that humanity, and I know I'm getting very philosophical, but I don't care. I think humanity is crying out for something that's real. They want a real interaction. They want a real person. And what does a crazy share do? It says, I'm not a chat bot. I'm not calling you from a call center in India. I'm an actual real person who lives in your area, who has a life. I might even be your neighbor. And I'm so happy to help you. This is a real snapshot from my real life. And I have to say, it is the essence of #NoFilter, which we see is one of the most popular hashtags on Instagram. So it is the essence of that. And it works. I have a wonderful, wonderful response rate with it. And the ironic thing about crazy texting and emailing is that you're going to set it as an automatic campaign from KV Core. So it is actually going to go out and sound like it was just typed, but it is not just typed. It's going out as an automated campaign from KV Core. So you do need to set up this campaign. If you don't know how to set one up, just head into eXp World, go to the Tech Outpost, and they'll walk you through it. If you're not with eXp and you don't have access to the Tech Outpost, then you need to talk to me about that so that we can get you hooked up and get you set up with eXp and KV Core. Right, so if they gave a phone number, you're going to put them on Crazy Text. If they only gave an email and no phone number, you're going to put them on Crazy Email. Video texting. This is where you have an appointment that you have set, whether it's through the ISA or yourself, with someone that you potentially haven't met before. And you are going to use the video app in your phone to take a video of yourself, maybe sitting at your desk, and you're going to text this video to them before the appointment. And it's going to say something like this. Hey, Jennifer, we have an appointment in a couple hours at Starbucks. I did get that list of properties that we talked about, and I just wanted to let you know I'm super excited about what I found on this list. And there's actually a couple properties that look like they're really underpriced for the region, so I can't wait to show those to you. I just wanted you to lay eyes on my face before we met so that you'd be able to sort of pick me out at Starbucks, and really looking forward to meeting with you, and I'll see you in a couple hours. So you're going to text that to them, and that shows a 21% increase in show-up rate in the amount of people who show up to appointments. I love video texting. I recommend it wholeheartedly, and you don't have to use it just for appointments. You can just use it like video texting. I'll just use, even if I'm like, I may have lost this lead, so whatever, I'm going to send them a cute little video text, and I do, and I've picked leads up that way. One more thing that I want to make mention of too, I once closed a $2 million lead this way. If you get a lead that is sort of talking to you, but they haven't left a phone number, or you see they're super active on KV Core, but there's no phone number, send a text message. If you're on iPhone, send a text message to their email address. This will hit, and if it turns up blue, as iPhone users know, they are also on an iPhone. It will show up in their phone like a regular text message. And I once caught a $2 million sale by doing just that. I texted them and got a conversation going with them over text message. So that's one way of contacting people who didn't leave a number but did leave an email address. Logical next steps. So every time that you end either a phone conversation or showings, you are always going to bring it to the logical next steps. You're never going to walk away from a showing just going, okay, bye, see you next time. No, it's always going to be, okay, you know what? Based on how this showing went today, I'd say it's fair to say that this isn't the right community for us just because you don't seem to like this architecture. But I think that the architecture that you're looking for is available in these two communities. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into Matrix when I get home. I'm going to change your search to reflect sort of what we're looking for today, or what we talked about today. I'm going to send it to you. You're going to click the hearts of the ones you want to view, and we'll go back out on Tuesday. Does that work for you? Tuesday, say around 4 o'clock, and then get it on the books. So it's always going to be, okay, we're booking our next appointment, or, this is when I'm going to call you next. You're going to go talk to your mortgage broker, or even better, to my mortgage broker, and I'm going to call you back on Tuesday. Even if you get somebody, who is saying, yes, I am buying, but not for 9 months, get permission to call them back just by saying, hey, is it okay if I call you back in 6 months just to see how things are doing? Almost always they'll say, yeah, you can do that. You can call me back. Okay, lastly, I'm here to help. You can call me to strategize anytime you need to. If you are one of my clients, it's my pleasure to help you to strategize. Just go on to my Calendly, and you can book an excellence call anytime you need to kind of talk through anything that you may want to figure out for your own business.